I'm back. Did you miss me? It's so good to be back. It's so good to be back. Welcome if this is your first time here. My name is So-La-Rah, and I'm going to be your host through this reading tonight. I thank you guys so much for all your beautiful messages that you've given me in my time off. I haven't done a message in about a week. I needed the time to integrate a lot of activations that were coming through, a lot of fuckery, which I'm sure we will get into some of that tonight. And yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. In the interim, I did start another channel, and I did place it on the community board, but I will also link it below. It's called So-La-Rah Rises, and it's going to be where I kind of do shorter messages, like black hat messages, audio messages specifically. They're probably not going to be, most of them won't be longer than maybe 10 minutes in length, dropping downloads, or, you know, things that Spirit is showing me, just, you know, helping to encourage the collective and keep you updated with what's happening, especially during times where I'm not going to be so active doing videos. So that's So-La-Rah Rises. That will also be a channel where if I have any activations coming through for the wider collective, I will be sharing them there also. So, if you like that shorter format, make sure to subscribe. Okay. Anything else I need to share? Yeah, I think we're just going to get into the cards. I think I'm just going to do a regular reading tonight. That's what I've been led to do. I will say that it's been a time of what my guides would say, it's parasite clearing time. It's energy vampire clearing from the root. So a lot of the energies that have been feeding upon you through the many contracts of the matrix that you got into a lot of the time unconsciously, those energies are clearing our fields on all levels. And it's going to depend where you are and what your process is in the sense of how you're going to feel it leaving. So it's going to be wanting to leave your mental body because the spiritual plane is already dealt with. So now it's got to leave through you because you're the bridge between heaven and earth. So now those energies must filter through your reality as they pertain to what it is that you need to clear. But as you clear it for yourself, you're actually doing a grander gift for the collective too. So for some of you, you're going to notice it's more leaving your mental body. So it's going to be more of a challenge of old thoughts that are going to come up and try to trick you into thinking that something is the same as it was, or like you're entering into an older cycle. And for many of you, you're going to recognize and realize that the potency of that energy has left. In other words, you're very discerning at this point, and you're very aware of what your thoughts are versus the projections, right? But I encourage you all to be very vigilant because there's a lot of sneaky energy happening right now, a lot of sneaky energy, and it's happening, you know, in the wider collective, especially as many of you wrap up really arduous cycles. A lot of that energy has been coming up too. But it's also, the reason there's a lot of sneaky energy is because as these energies exit our field, as these root energies of energy vampirism, all the food stuff, they were feeding on within us, our fear, our doubt, all of those things that kept us out of our divine alignment. As those energies, the roots of them begin to clear, those entities, beings, parasites, projections, those things that fed on that energy to gain momentum are going to be wanting to come back to make their home. And so it's really important to be very aware of and discerning of what is you and what isn't you at this time in terms of how you're thinking about yourself. And an easy way to always know whether your mental body is in divine alignment is you will never, as a divine being in divine alignment, you will not think things about yourself that aren't true. In other words, that are out of divine alignment. Okay, so even if there are things that you still need to be doing work on, you will not condemn yourself for those things. That would be a program of the matrix. A lot of the time it's a false, it's a karmic mother program, because all the karmic mother spells are coming up right now. So they're telling me to talk just a little bit about this. The karmic mother spells are coming up, and I'm even seeing it with people who are coming to me for services. This is a big, big energy right now, because your mother, our mothers, are our first programmers. And I say that because, well, first and foremost, the environment in which you multiply and your DNA activates and you come into existence in physical form and emotional and mental form is within the confines of your mother's womb. So your cells, your DNA, were taking directions mainly from her experience and how she was internalizing it, from her own DNA makeup and her own emotional, mental body and physical reality. She is your first programmer when you're born, you know, and if you were breastfed, that's literally a sharing again of DNA. Again, it's programming, and that's on a purely physiological point, 1944 on my clock. So when you take it even further and you think about all the ways we're raised and conditioned to think about ourselves in the world, and the traditions that we're given and the rules that we're given on how to live and how we're supposed to be, that predominantly, especially for those of us of my generation and above, it's predominantly the mother, because the mother tends to be the one, even if she is working, she's the one who tends to be the nurturer and the one who tends to be around a lot, you know? The caregiver, the main caregiver, tends to be the mom. And that's not to at all minimize the power and the purpose of fatherhood, because, you know, it's very important too, but the focus right now is this karmic mother energy, because the matrix herself is a false mother, and everything is birthed through mother energy. Men and women alike are birthed through mother energy. And so as such, as the matrix, the false mother, the grand whore of Babylon, as she collapses, all of the spells that were passed on to women in terms of how they then would mother their children into dysfunction, thus creating generational curses and generational strongholds. Because all of that is happening, all those karmic mother spells are leaving us now. And as such, they're coming up in all of us, and a big way it's coming up too is if you are a mother yourself. You know, you're going to be, you probably are going to be confronted with the ways that you, moving forward, you're choosing the decisions that you make and the choices you make in terms of how you want to mother your children. You're going to, right now is a good time to be asking yourself like real questions, like, why do I do things this way? Or why do I think things this way? Is it because this is what I was shown? And moving forward, is it conducive to what is right for what my family is destined for? All of these things need to be confronted right now, because we blindly and unconsciously and very trustingly take on a lot of information by way of these karmic mother programs and spells, which, although they're running through our mothers oftentimes, they are collective spells, which I'm not going to get too into right now. But the point is that right now we're being asked to really, all of those energies are leaving, but we're being asked to take a very good look at where we have been programmed by those karmic mother spells, not only in how we mother our own children, but even, especially on an individual level, how we are reparenting and remothering ourselves. Because we're all getting ready, whether you are in a divine union, or whether you already have children, or whether you're already in divine co-creatorships, it doesn't really matter, because these energies are about to affect us all, in the sense that there's about to be a grand shift in all of those areas, because it's time to do things a new way. It's time to love divinely. We've been receiving a lot of upgrades, especially through Pisces season and that Neptunian energy of how to, our heart chakras, our upper heart chakras, they've been opening, and we've been receiving more upgrades and activations to prepare us for this next cycle we're going into. And for some of you, it's going to literally be new people are coming in, you know, and for others of you, you already have established divine partnerships that are now going to be upgraded into higher divine alignment. And for this reason, we are all being called to search where we are still holding on to these spells. You know, where are we holding? Because the roots are coming up, and they're wanting, the root energies are coming up to be completely uprooted and dispelled. But they're wanting to stay. And the only way we can get them not to stay is if we acknowledge that they were first there to begin with, and we acknowledge when they're trying to creep back in. So I hope that you're following me when I say that. So again, we're in this period of time, and we're going, you know, like the energies are so intense because in this new moon in Aries to new moon in Aries window, there's a grand like void space that we're all being, it's a recalibration time. It's a balancing of the scales, hence the reason why the Libra energy, the full moon in Libra, is smack in the middle. But then not only that, we're now officially in eclipse season as we move towards the next new moon. And this eclipse is going to be bigger than you know, many, because it is a hybrid eclipse. So it's every solar eclipse rolled into one. And eclipse energy is all about, you know, it's fated divine alignment, and a lot of the time it's eclipsing things out of our reality that are no longer serving us moving forward. So as such, this is why at every turn we're being shaken. So, you know, you may have been under grave attack, especially since the new moon in Aries at equinox time, but know that it's ultimately a grand time of activation. And the more you focus on the activation and you take the attention off of the ones who are trying to shake you, the faster it happens, but also the more you're able to see their strategy of also using attacks to distract you and have you focused on what they're doing as opposed to ascending. So with that said, also coming through, be very, very careful right now what you're taking in, especially if you are fans of you know, tarot. Be careful because you know, a lot of tarot, especially on YouTube, and this is not me, you know, knocking real spiritualists, but there's a lot of tarot readers who repeat the same story again and again, and they never tell you how to get out. And some of them, you know, do it because they just care about the money. You know, they don't really care about ascension. And some of them are just very unconscious that that's the pattern that they're promoting. And so I say that even with me, be careful with what you take in at this time, because the grand purpose of this window is to jump out of the cycle. And every energy that's coming at you right now is wanting you to jump back on a wheel of misfortune. And you're riding the wheel of fortune out because you recovered your chariot now, right? That's what this year has been about. It's the year of the chariot and the tower. The towers must fall to make way for the chariot. You've recovered your chariot. The towers are falling. As the towers fall and the debris is cleared, your way is made clear. So make sure that now that you've recovered your chariot, that you're staying the course and you're not getting locked into any modes of thinking that would have you believe anything less than the truth of who you are divinely. And who you are divinely is everything that you aren't in the matrix. I hope that makes sense. So be careful of what you're thinking. Be careful of how long you're staying in certain states of feeling. Feel what you need to feel, but get a very clear understanding at this time of when you are feeling in order to process and feeling in order to feed energies of victimhood. And I say that very non-judgmentally. I say that as a person who has to do it myself, because we've all been programmed into the matrix to be victims and to be consistently victimized. And so as such, we must clear those programs that we have been falling prey to unconsciously. So be very aware, because there's such a thing as having a disappointment, for example, and lamenting over it enough to process it so that it doesn't like crystallize and turn into, a stuck energy like shame. It's one thing to stay in that energy, to work your way through it. And it's another way to stay in that energy from a feeling of hopelessness. So right now we're really learning my trusty vibrational scale. Right now we are really learning how to master timeline jumping using our own. This is how you become a magician, right? This is the vibrational scale. You're really, as a divine being, supposed to be living, courage. Well, not even. You're supposed to really be living in, like love and above. As a divine being, that's your birthright. But sometimes to like stay mostly in these energies, you have to come through, like you've got to be courageous, you've got to be willing and accepting and open, and you've got to do reasoning because you don't exist alone, etc., etc. Like you've got to deal with all of these energies in order to kind of navigate your way here, right? But the point being is that these lower energies are the ones where they want you staying, especially fear, grief, apathy, guilt, and shame. And these energies are here to protect you, right? They're not here for you to live in. They're here just for you to protect you. They're here as an alarm system to show you where, there's danger if there's fear, but they're here also to show you where you are out of bounds. It's like they're here to show you when you are living below your value, or you are devaluing someone else, or you are devaluing the world that sustains you. Then these are energies that you should visit just in order to reflect, process, and climb again back into your divine value, which will always be love. Because God is love, right? And you are divine beings, so therefore you are beings of love. But what they wanted you being is, they wanted you to be fear-based beings. So get you trapped in energies that ultimately are here to protect you. So, excuse me 1 second, I feel something in my throat. Yeah, some tea. Excuse me, I'm still clearing. I was a little bit sick at the end of last week. I got activated very, very quickly one day last week, and yeah. But anyway, they wanted you in states of fear. They wanted you to be fear-based beings, because a lot of them, especially the ones who are soulless, are fear-based beings, and hence the reason why a lot of them needed to cloak themselves in your energy. So you're not a fear-based being. You are love incarnate. You are a creature of love. And so right now you're learning how to be divine while living on earth and utilizing the full spectrum of your emotions that we see on the vibrational scale to help you to secure that divine truth. So you no longer are here to stay in energies of shame, guilt, fear, apathy, grief. You're here to feel and experience what those things are teaching you and alchemize those energies by gleaning the wisdom and the value so you can climb back into your divine value, which is love. Okay, so I say that right now because we have to be very aware of where we're falling prey to I don't want to call it self-indulgence. It's like matrix persona indulgence. It's victimhood indulgence, because that's ultimately, they like you in those states of feeling powerless, and you're not. That was one of the biggest lies and the illusions, is that you are powerless. and that is a program that is very deeply rooted in most of us, even in those who, you want to say, quote unquote, succeeded in the Matrix. It was a false sense of power in which they had to belittle and victimize others. So really, somewhere along the lines, they can't have thought of themselves as being very powerful. They may have acted like it, but that just because you can act it doesn't make it true, So yes, I think I'm good now. I think I can begin the reading. Where do I want to begin tonight? They've been speaking to me all day about going into my herbal deck. So let's see what herbs come out tonight, what energies we're being asked to really pay attention to. Okay. We have lemon balm at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to put this up. I don't know if you can see it because these cards are quite small and I pack a lot of writing on this, but on this card, lemon balm is also known as Melissa, right? And it's sacred to the great goddess and all of her honeybees. So it's very much tied to those of divine and royal lineage is lemon balm. But lemon balm is, in herbal medicine, it's what's considered to be, it has nervine properties, which means it calms the nervous system, but it also helps, because it calms the nervous system, it's also a herb that we use to help with digestive problems, especially in little ones, because it's a very calming, gentle herb. So lemon balm is here to help us to be gentle, to be real and truthful with ourselves, but to be gentle enough with ourselves that we're able to do the work of accepting certain truths. Like a lot of the reason why we stayed in illusion in the Matrix and why we couldn't accept certain truths was because we were taught to condemn ourselves and to be ashamed in that space of, we're not doing enough, we're not getting far enough, or we're a bad person, or this or that. Everything was designed to create a narrative of shame whereby you would stay condemned and you wouldn't rise, and you'd be afraid to rise. And that fear would cause you more shame. That was one of the cycles. So the lemon balm is here to gently help, break any resistance to receiving what it is that's getting ready to come forth. Okay. It also dispels depression and loneliness, and it helps us to understand better laws of giving and receiving. So this is another energy that's been coming up right now too. This energy of magnetism and repulsion, because we all have that ability. The magnetism is, or you could say, instead of repulsion, you could say magnetism and electricity, because the magnetism is connected to the feminine principle of receiving and or pulling, and the electric energy is aligned with the masculine principle of going out or pushing away. So it's that push and pull energy, right? So right now we are all being challenged, no matter where we are, to take a look at how we're utilizing the power of those things within. Are we, because this is very important for inner union, right? For the balance of your own masculine and feminine energies, but it's also important for how you relate to your partner, your divine partner, in your intimate relationships. And like I said in the beginning, because we are in a window now where we're getting ready to actually upgrade in our partnerships, this is where we're kind of being fine-tuned at this point. We're learning once again to love like God. We're learning to be love. And as such, we must get back in touch with the fullness of our own heart mechanisms. And when I say heart mechanisms, a lot of us have been through so much trauma. And even if you're in a divine partnership, it can still be really difficult to communicate with your partner. There's still those blocks at times that are there, again, because of trauma. And so right now we're learning how to be vulnerable again. You know, we're learning how to trust. And the trusting comes from, first of all, you know, trusting self and the divine, and then moving in that. So now we're getting more naked, guys. It's really what it is. Like that word nakedness, it keeps on coming up for me right now. And you know, like, and even saying it, I'm thinking again about, you know, the Garden of Eden and how Adam and Eve, they were naked and afraid. They got expelled out of the garden because they found out that they were naked, right? Or it's not they found out they were naked, they became ashamed of their nakedness, is what it was. And so now we're learning how to be naked and unashamed, because so many people are in intimate relationships where they're not able to share their innermost thoughts and secrets because of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood or not being understood, or fear of repulsing or repelling the person. And so now we're learning how to use the energy of magnetism and electricity, masculine and feminine energy. We're bringing all that back into balance so that we can once again be naked and real and unafraid with those who are worthy of that, of our intimacy. We're learning how to be vulnerable. So many of us have lost that ability because we were so open, our hearts were so open, and we were so trusting, and because of the state of the energies we lived in, and because so many of us really thought that everyone was the same, we were constantly abused, you know, and we opened ourselves up to be abused because we did not know that there was so much fuckery going on. And now it's time to trust in your healing and the shadow work you've done, and to trust that you are safe in your own hands, and therefore it's safe for you to begin to unfurl yourself before another, right? So we have here cinnamon, love, luck, money, and adding power to attraction work. So again, this is all about magnetism. And we have verbena. Oh, I love verbena. Verbena is, some would say that it's one of the goddess Isis's favorite herbs to work with. Verbena, or what do they call it? Van. They call it van in other preparations, hoodoo preparations especially. It's used for luck and money, I believe, in hoodoo. But knowledge and success, this is also for dream work. It's a very powerful herb for it gently helps you to integrate what it is that you learn intuitively. It's an intuition enhancer, but it works a little bit differently than like lavender or mugwort. It's beautiful to work with them because verbena helps you to integrate it all. And it's a beautiful one just to drink by itself. It has a beautiful flavor, verbena. Yeah, so it's connected to the earth and it's Venus energy. So it's that energy of grounding, the grounding what it is that intuitively we've received, which is partly integration. But what this is also showing me is that the things that we've intuited that we haven't yet seen with our eyes but felt in our heart are about to be made real. And there's some connection here with that happening, and also therefore being able to trust ourselves more moving forward in relationships. Meaning that for some of you, you know there's fuckery going on and there are people wearing masks, smiling in your face, pretending that everything's okay, pretending that they like you or pretending that they love you, and then turning around and doing really shisty shit to try and destroy you, block you, keep you off of your divine path, right? And you sense it, you've picked it up, you might have a few receipts, but you don't, but there's more that you're seeing, right? There's more that you're seeing with your third eye. There's more that you're intuiting. Well, what's about to happen now is the truth of that is about to unfold in real time. And that's actually going to help you have more confidence in your ability to read people and their intentions towards you moving forward. It's actually, funnily enough, It's going to help us to become more confident in our abilities, but also in our ability to judge moving forward who is good for us, who is right for us, to finally trust our intuition, because all of those relationships were designed to cause us to not trust our intuition, because they like to hide behind smoke screens and mirrors and wear a mask in order to keep us in an illusion about who they were. And so because of that, that was constantly, it's an insult to your intuition. When a person lies to you, deceives you, gaslights you, pretends to be something they're not, isn't 100% real with you, it dulls and it can dim your intuition, because it goes against what it is you're feeling. It goes against what it is you're sensing. And when that happens, then you start to question yourself, well, am I reading too much into this and all this other shit? And it's time to move out of that. It's time to move out of that, right? We have oak. I love this because oak, this is Jupiter energy. So it's all about expansion, but oak is in my opinion, a very fatherly energy, a very deeply protective, masculine energy. And it's a deeply grounding energy. And, all trees are grounding, but there's something about the stability of an oak tree that helps to really center you in truth and in integrity and in protection. Different trees have different energies. Like for me, a willow tree is extremely feminine. She helps me to integrate my emotions, and oak helps me to ground my energy, to move in truth, kind of. So I feel like this is what the oak tree is here for. But there's a lot of energy right now here on the board that's all about love and luck and money and things that are wanting to come into your, well, they're probably already into your fields now, but it's all about the receiving of that and the preparation of that, because we could not experience divine love in the old energetic parameters. It was not possible. We may have known of it, we may have yearned for it, but it wasn't sustainable. And now it is. And for many of us, because we've been let down so much, it's not that we don't want it, it's that now we have to do the emotional work in order to receive it. And because we've had so many false starts, and because these energies keep on wanting to pull and elongate the cycle, it can be difficult to hold on to the hope. But right now, more than ever, we're being asked to hold on to the dream and the faith with this oak and Jupiter energy. And that was another thing that was coming up. There was a lot of attacks against the ninth house, against your faith in yourself and your journey right now. That came up for me right before the reading. So that's what the divine is wanting us to know right now in terms of self. I actually want to get into some of the energies of what has been happening for some of you guys, and the energies to pay attention to. And the reason why, again, I like to look at the fuckery. I don't like to focus on it, but the reason why is because it shows you the strategy of your enemy, and it shows you where to do the work in self. So you can be free of that, because until you're free of the energy within, the energy without has something to match to, right? So, and this is especially when it comes to what's happening right now with all of the spell work and the attacks. The spell works want to attach to your fear, your guilt, your shame, your doubt, right? And so for as long as you are in those states, your fields are open. I also want to look at the fuckery because there are so many illusions and projections being thrown against us, and so much against our belief in what we have been going through and what has been happening. So I want to take a look at what's coming up. We got sacral block, attack, or distortion. I felt that very heavily over the weekend. And this is also tied into the calendar and where we are, because the three major religions of the Matrix, it was their high holiday time. And when I say, I have nothing against Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, not at all, but the organized religion part of it has been designed to keep people enslaved. And as such, these major holidays, in fact, Easter weekend is a higher holiday for sacrifices than Halloween. They do more of their sacrifices on Easter weekend than they do during the holiday season. It's a very high time of sacrifice for them. So because they know that they can have grand access to a lot of sacral energy, your sacred energy, the energy that you use to worship something, worship God, or, that is connected to your sacral energy. And that's the energy they love to feed upon, because that is the energy of creation. That is the energy that connects us to the divine, that connects us to our divine truth, that connects us to our I am truth. So they love, and it connects us to our ability, it doesn't only connect us to it, it connects us to our ability to take that and to birth that reality on earth. And so it's a very potent energy. It's womb energy. Whether you're a man or a woman, you possess it. And they love to latch on to that, because that's where they are able to harness your solar energy, your regenerative energy, the regenerative energy of your solar codes. And that's another big thing that's coming up. And in fact, I pulled up YouTube earlier on today, and one of my older readings just randomly came up. And I'm going to, if I remember, I'm going to place it below, because it actually, that reading I think I did on solstice. It was December 20th I did that reading. And a lot of what I was picking up in that reading, I feel like it's coming to pass now for whoever that reading is for. So I'm going to post it below, and even in the reading it specifies new moon in Aries and other stuff. So I'm gonna link it below, because it's a good one to listen to, also because it deals with some of the stuff some of the fuckery that's being exposed right now in real time. Okay, so we have time to retreat into hermit mode. Special and specific messages require solitude and silence. They may not. Okay, so here we have a karmic aunt. Okay, so the message coming through is here. We have a karmic aunt, right? This is a person who's being exposed in the scenario of the things that have been happening, because you have so many ops and people who have contributed to these energies. And so we have a karmic aunt here. And it says she may not have had all the info, but she still knew her choice would cause you pain. So she made a selfish choice. We do have time to retreat into hermit mode. For some of you, you're being called to pull yourself out of this person's energy in order to get a clearer insight of what it is you need to do moving forward. Because this person, while their intentions may not have been malevolent towards you, they were complicit in whatever it is happened to you because they knew. And what I'm getting here is, in this instance, this person knew and was too afraid to do anything. So again, it wasn't like they were trying to hurt you, but in not being real, it did. So now you're being called to not necessarily go into hermit mode, like close yourself off from the world, unless that's what you got to do. But it's more like hermit yourself from this person so that you can see clearly, and you can sit with your guides, and you can ask them also to help you clear the emotions that would cloud your better judgment, especially with this sacral energy. For some of you, this aunt was like a mother figure. So like this aunt was like a mother figure, and the things that she spoke into your life, you took to heart. You were programmed by those things. You took them to heart. You lived your life in accordance with trusting some of the things this person said to you. So it says, open your mouth and speak the whole truth, regardless of presentation. So if you are holding back on expressing the truth of how you feel. Oh, wait, this is something else. Hold on a second. There's something here. So we have open your mouth and speak the whole truth regardless of presentation. We have mirror box. And we have you've been consistently binded and sacrificed on the astral for material goods. Or okay. Many people, okay. So I feel like for some of you that you have an aunt or an aunt-like figure. It doesn't have to be a literal aunt if it's not, you know. Could even be, you know, a female friend. But there's someone here who might be, it almost feels like this person is, I'm getting a very strong, like almost like a blackmail energy here. Almost like this person may have not been involved, but in sitting around and seeing it and therefore knowing it, they are an accessory, and whoever is like the main person involved now is wanting to use this person to get into your fields. That's what I'm feeling. And they're trying to pull on your heartstrings. They're trying to pull on the maternal connection you have with this aunt in order to get you once again in a state where you can be binded. You know, same old story. They're trying to bind and sacrifice you on the astral again for material goods. And the reason this is happening is because we have many people were paid off or promised things to stay quiet concerning what was being done to you. So this aunt may have actually, they may have actually been paid to not say anything to you. So then it takes it even on a deeper level. And they could be being bribed right now with money. So they're wanting to use someone, whether it's an aunt or not. For some of you, it's going to be an aunt. They're wanting to use someone to flatter you and to manipulate you and distort your true vision, your third eye. So what they're showing me right now is they are saying to me that this is somebody who might come into your fields and begin to congratulate you about how far you've come, you know, your own evolution. They're going to come and they're going to say some really nice things. And this is what I'm telling you right now about the energies that are happening within and without. Because remember, these energies without are only always trying to exploit our so-called weakness within. So there's a lot of sneakiness right now. This person is wanting to come in and to act as if they're so proud of who you've become and how much you evolved. And I'm even seeing like, for those of you who may have removed yourself from another, you know, energy, especially because a lot of this stuff is family things that are wrapping up right now. You may have removed yourself from the main energy. And they might even come and tell you things like, you know, oh, you know, I get why you did that. It's probably the best. They're really going to try their best to seem as if they're on your side. But the point is to get back into your fields. There's a lot of illusions that are wanting to be cast right now through some kind of interference with a person, a female figure, who you have some kind of close, or you had some kind of close bond with, but it's manipulation. At the bottom, we do have your path is clear. Okay, so this is indicating to me also that whatever energy is wanting to come into your fields right now, which is, you know, the case for all of us, is wanting to make you feel as if your path isn't clear, as if you're stuck in the old cycle, as if you're going back into another version of the old cycle, as if you're not breaking out. It wants you to believe that there are so many blocks and there's so many blocks and stagnant energy on your path that you can't make it out. It's a lie. It's an illusion. And even if there are things that are like manifesting right now in your reality that makes you think that, sit in that energy. Sometimes you are called just to stand still and to let things unfold. That's all you can do. Stand still and let something unfold, because it's going to have to. Energy is energy. It's going to have to unfold. So sometimes when it seems like there's an energy that's come in to put a block in your path, it's actually just a call for you. Stand still, just stand and see what is about to unfold. It doesn't mean you're permanently blocked. It means that this is let's pause this a second. This energy needs to play itself out. Sometimes it's even protection. It's protecting what's coming towards you by trying to clear out this other thing that's coming in once again to try and block. It's coming in to expose that thing. So for some of you, if you have been experiencing some kind of block recently and you couldn't figure out where it was coming from, it could be because this is a player who is still in your fields that your guides are wanting to expose, because know that it's getting very serious right now. We are not allowed to take forward with us those who are locusts. We're not allowed to take forward with us those who have been in our fields, stealing our stuff and pretending like we were the problem. You know, like we were the peasants when they were actually feasting off of our grapes. We're not allowed to take that energy, and because it's been so sneaky in all forms, it can't go forward with us. So a person who will watch something unfold in your life that is unsavory and traps you and say nothing to you, and then for some of you even get paid for it, it doesn't even matter that they weren't involved in the actual binding rituals. They were by being an accessory and not standing up for what was right, and for coming and not coming to you, for watching you struggle and suffer and knowing what was going on and saying nothing. That makes them just as complicit as the abuser. You know, if you sit down and you watch somebody be murdered and you just walk away from the scene, you will be charged as being an accessory. This person is an accessory. You're being called to work with trees and the element of earth. Yeah, ancestral clearance, rerouting, protection, and grounding. This is another energy that's coming up right now. This ancestral clearing in order for rerouting. Some of you are starting whole new lineages in the new earth. It doesn't matter what your family tree was in the old world. It doesn't matter what your bloodline is. It goes deeper than that. It's about your divine lineage, and what you're doing moving forward is you're creating a new earth lineage. And as such, I want to say since about a year ago, there's been this process of uprooting people from their, it's almost like the way they show it to me, it's like when you uproot a tree. And I don't know what you guys know about like uprooting trees, but it's a really, really delicate process, and it's something that they don't actually do until they have no other choice. And the only reason they will uproot the tree is because it's causing a problem to the other trees, because trees have deep root systems that, you know, help them communicate with trees that aren't even in their vicinity, which shows us that one tree has an effect on a tree, you know, somewhere else, even in the world. It has an effect, but more importantly, it has an effect on its immediate ecosystem. And so in order not to disturb the integrity of the ecosystem, they will wait. I forget what they're called, arborists, I forget. But they will wait until they have no other, they can take no other course of action before they will actually uproot a tree. And it's a very careful surgery that they have to do. And this is what we've been going through. You know, etherically speaking, a lot of us have been being uprooted from family trees, and we've been being placed back in the ground recently. And now we are beginning to establish our roots. And the tree energy might be coming up for you if that message is speaking to you. It might be the way that you begin to balance yourself and what it is, the foundation you are creating here now on the new earth. It might be a way to do that. And in doing that also, it automatically will begin to clear those energies that think that they can hitch a ride or hold on to you in any way or snatch you back. Because this is like, So whatever situation this is, this aunt feels like a minor character in a bigger story, okay? But sometimes the minor characters are the ones that are the most, they are the ones that we don't see, but they have to be exposed, okay? So this seems like a minor character in a bigger story here. And this, again, is the energy of what it is we're being asked to do within. We must find those smaller energies, those root energies. We must find them, and we must get rid of them, and we must not treat them like they are benign. And I'm not talking about like your aunt. You will have to figure out how to move forward in a way that brings integrity to your own soul and your own journey. And for some of you, you might want to completely, separate. When I say you can't take an energy forward, I'm not talking about you have to completely sever that person out of your life. If you feel that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. But in some cases, it's like completely changing the dynamic and putting up some very firm boundaries between you. Because remember now, you are a timeline, you are a time traveler, which means you're able to go forward into where you're going and still exist with the others right now who aren't. But you must have boundaries. You must protect your energy. And for some of you, there's a situation here with someone who is either, it's either that they're still in your energy and you're not fully owning the threat or recognizing the threat, or they're coming back into your energy. And because of how, what a small character they played in the overall situation of what has occurred. And for some of you, it's not even that it's a small character. You might not even think this person was a character in all of the drama. And this is why this is coming up for you to be alerted. Like, there have to be clear boundaries for you to protect what it is you have coming forward, because all of the minor players right now are going to want to be coming in. It's any way they can get into your fields. And when I say get into your fields, it's really trying to attach to your heart in order to also make connection to your sacral energy again. A lot of these people, who have sold you out, it has been all about the access to your sacred energy, because that's where you birth your solar codes. And so all of it, your sacral energy is connected to your heart. Because it's an emotion. It's how you birth through emotion. You birth through water. You birth through how you feel. You birth through the marriage of your thought gaining momentum enough that it becomes solidified in building a feeling. And the feeling is ultimately, the sustained feeling is ultimately what then becomes your physical reality. And so there's something here about this person wanting to come in and it's like some of them might be being paid at this point. The web they spun to snare you is now their own trap. So that's another energy that was coming up this weekend too. There was a lot of spider energy, a lot of not just spider energy, but a lot of astral insect energy. A lot of what my guys kept on showing me was like pest. Pestilence, the little critters that come in and feed upon your stuff, like moths and locusts and ants. And there's a lot of that energy right now, of those energies wanting to get back into people's fields in human form and in astral form. And so be very, very aware. We do have Reaper and Death energies surrounds this person or situation. I feel it's more about the situation. This situation is about to be deaded. It's about to be eclipsed. And this is where we have this energy coming in, trying to trap you in shame, so you betray self and choose them or their way. So there's something here again about this, with that sacral energy also, it's family energy. So there's something here about trying to and sacral energy is connected to guilt. Guilt people into what's coming through. It's like guilt people into not moving forward in their new earth reality, in their new earth lineage. No, we're blood, we're family, but you have a new lineage that you're here to plant. And again, that doesn't mean you have to, that family isn't important and these people aren't important as long as they haven't, been the ones in charge of all the fuckery. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it is right now that we're being called to be very, very clear about our boundaries and what we allow in, even emotionally, especially emotionally. And I'm going to go back to the herbs that came out in the beginning, and that was that, you know, all the herbs were about learning magnetism and electricity, learning how to use our masculine and our feminine energy in order to sustain new levels of intimacy. This is all this energy that I'm seeing right now is all about the expansion that's coming forth in love and money. But before it comes forth, our fields must be cleared of all of those who have contributed to chilling in them, or stealing from them, or watching others steal. It must be cleared. So for many of us, many of you, this has been a checkpoint. The pause has been a checkpoint. There are minor finicky things that we still need to show you, that if we don't slow you down, you might not see. So, okay. I don't want to make this reading too long tonight. Let's get you an abundance angels card. I don't know. I want to get some tarot. I haven't done tarot on here in a very long time. I just took out my Light Seers tarot deck. Let's do a little bit of tarot. Let's see what messages come through. And then we'll get an abundance angels. Ooh, the Ten of Swords flipped. Ten of Swords. This is like the end of mind control. Some of you, like I said in the beginning of before I began the reading, you're releasing a lot of these parasitic energies, these energies that have clung to you. Their main inception point in your mind is leaving. Meaning you're going to learn a new way to think. You're learning new ways to think. And your ability to train your mind into divine alignment is what is clearing these old energies out. And for some of you, not for some of you, for those of you who are resonating with that, the energies that have to be cleared, they're deep-rooted family conditioning and programming. We've got the sun at the bottom of the deck. Look how free she is. Her arms are open. The Sun card is the card of having come home to self. In the major arcana, it's you've come home to self. And the cards that come after are Judgment and the World, meaning you've come home to self, and now everything in your life can be put back into balance in order to close out the cycle royally with the World card. But the Sun comes first. So some of you, this is where you are right now. Things are about to be balanced for you in very, very big ways because you're home. You're home. And so now everything that has kept you out of divine order must leave. Everything that's kept you out of divine order will now have to leave. Right? We do have the Five of Cups and the Queen of Wands coming out. Very, very different energies. But then we have the Sun at the bottom. And the Queen of Wands is, again, it's more Leo energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And the Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. And fives in tarot are all about the up level. It's about the lessons that you must learn in order to upgrade. That's why it's connected to the number 5 major arcana, which is the Hierophant, but it's also connected to the number 14 major arcana, which is Temperance. So it's all about the alchemizing of the lessons in order to continue to move forward, or in order for the cycle to close. So right now, in other words, right now you are in the process of integration. You've already, for some of you, if this is yeah, we got the wheel right below. If this reading is resonating with you, the Sun, you are more often than you're not, you're in a place of divine alignment with your truth and your power. And as such, you're integrating. And with the Five of Cups, the Cups energy, the Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. Like I said, it is 0 to 10 degrees Scorpio. So for some of you, that might be important. 0 to 10 degrees Scorpio in your chart. Where is that? The Scorpio energy is over your sacral energy. It is over your sacral energy. It is over your womb energy. I'm getting here again that it's again this message of not being blinded right now by the illusions. There are illusions around some of you right now that are designed to make you feel like everything that you're getting is falling through your hands, or everything that you thought was coming back to you, it isn't, or you're going back into an old cycle, or you're losing something again, or you'll never gain. Those are all illusions designed to test you, to see who is it you're going to believe. Either you're divine and you're powerful and you're walking by faith and not by sight, or you're going to believe in the same illusion that has gotten you before, right? Different way, but same energy. Because this energy that's been happening right now, as intense as it is, it's a repeating energy. There may be more people at work. I did see that. I've seen a lot of fuckery happening, and I saw. Let me point you out so you know that you're seen. I saw the person chanting last week during my premiere. I saw you. I also saw what happened to your solar plexus. It's not a time to come up against divine beings in alignment. Step back. This energy right here, it's not a time to be in that. That's the energy they want you in, because once again, everything that's been occurring, especially since the equinox and then powered up more by the full moon, is designed to get you back down into this state, to get you into grief, and then to get you into shame because, oh, I failed again, or blah, 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 all of that. This is why at the beginning it was coming up, that energy of being aware not to indulge your matrix personas, the victim programs of the matrix. Be careful not to indulge those, because that's where they're wanting you to harvest. It's no coincidence that the Five of Cups energy, this energy of, it's an energy of being sad and having lost something. It's no coincidence that it's a Scorpio energy, okay? No coincidence. It's because this is the energy they need you in order to access your sacred wisdom. It's what they need you in order to harvest you and to get you back into a cycle. So they're trying to fool you into thinking you're going again into a cycle, but you're not, because you've already been set free. You've already been set free. The energies right now are here for all of us who have not, sold ourselves out completely. It's here for all of us to be set free, but it's a choice. Because, and this is little to do with, everything's in divine order, but what you have to understand and overstand is that the matrix is a game, and it's a game of illusions. And so if you want to if you want to get to the next level, you've got to break the illusion. And so this is another illusion. And again, like I said, it's the same energy, but it's coming to you with a great grand force. And the reason it's coming at you with grand force is because it wants you to succumb to the illusion. But it's also a testament to the fact, think about it this way. Nobody's going to come at you really powerfully to try to do shit to you if you're not a threat. No one's going to sit in your premiere chanting. And this is not only for me, I've seen it happen with other readers too. No one's going to cast spells against the way you're received by the collective unless you're a threat to their illusion. So, if this is you and you're being smothered in this energy, it's because you're a threat to someone's grand illusion that they need you in order to keep you harvestable. So don't fall prey to it. And for some of you, it's like this aunt, a message that just came through, this aunt, this female figure, you know, it's like this person is a person who maybe you commiserated with, or it's a person who, you know, those people who they love it when you're sad. And they seem like they're so comforting, and they'll open their home to you, all that stuff. But the minute you start breaking out and doing well, it's like they're never there clapping for you and being like, well done, and all this other stuff. But they're there for you when you're going through shit. I'm getting that energy also coming through with this this karmic aunt card that came out. So that might be a message for somebody. Be aware of how that kind of energy, whether it's an aunt or whether it's within or whether it's anyone else, how someone would come and exploit that energy of you, you know, feeling bad for whatever is happening and trying to keep you in that state by seeming like they're wanting you to, like by seeming like they're there for you. That's what I mean. Like, there are so many ways that you can manipulate a person into an illusion. And one of the trickiest ways, and this is why it's so difficult for so many people to break out of karmic cycles, is when people come and pretend like they care. But really what they're trying to do is to keep you in your state of being victimized. We do have the Queen of Wands come out, which is a really interesting energy because I'm very drawn to the light in her hands. And so the message I'm getting here is the sun. You see like how her arms are thrown out, her heart is open. That again is showing the activations coming through. It's almost like this character is having bits of the sun in her hand, right? So you are, you have that light. That light in you is growing. And so it's almost like you're being called to enjoy the process of watching it grow. Focus on that right now instead of anything that's coming into your fields to make you feel Five of Cups. What this is also showing me is that your creative power is back. The Queen of Wands, out of all the queens, she is the one who is the most... she's the one who's in tune with her own magic, because the Wands energy is connected. It's fire and it's spirit. So the Queen of Wands knows how to wield the power of spirit. But more importantly, it just feels like your creative energy, no matter what the illusion is right now, your sacral energy that's been harvested is coming back to you, for you to create the magic in your own life that should have always been yours. Okay, so we pay attention to what we want to grow, right? And we discard or we pay less attention to that which we're not trying to make bigger in our lives. So right now, you have the potential to have the sun that big in your life, and you have it in the palm of your hand. Your ability to grow that is it's there too. And for some of you, these sun activations are bringing back your healing skills. You're working with your hands, working with your hand chakras, channeling energy through your hands. Some of you, this is something that is wanting to be activated in you also. Sometimes I want you to recognize also that the sadness that comes when a pause comes on your path, the sadness that comes is like, it can be a response to that, but it can also be the adjustment of your emotional, your energy field. It can be an adjustment of all of that to prepare you for a grander activation. It can also be that. So be aware of that. There's no more allowing your light to just go down the drain unless you want to believe, the lie of the illusion. Some of you, if you do candle magic, it's a good time to use candle magic to clear some of these illusions. To clear these illusions that are trying to keep you out of this energy of like the sun and the wheel of fortune. It's a really important time in general. I think the sun is about to be past the 20-degree mark in Aries, which means we are moving into Four of Wands energy. It's a very important time to secure. Four of Wands is all about securing. It's putting the post in at the four corners. It's creating the firm foundation. It's a really important time to be secure in who it is you are. Secure your fields. And your fields are secure when you know who you are. And I think that's all I have in terms of the tarot. Let's get into the abundance angels. And then I'm going to close it out. What do you want to tell us about abundance? This is a big energy right now, reclaiming our ability to receive, with the sacral energy coming through, the recalibration of our fields to be able to give and receive, to get the magnetism and the electricity. This is all helping us to master our own abundance and wealth frequencies, both in money, love, joy, family, and all of those areas. This is a learning how to program self, which is why all of the karmic mother spells are leaving too. It's time to program ourselves into our divine truth. Okay. Donations, tithing, and charitable work is at the bottom. Give joyfully to the organizations and people who spiritually support and inspire you, and know that your generosity will be returned to you manyfold in miraculous ways. The time, supplies, money, or other resources you donate will ensure that your positive energy multiplies. So this is about, what this is really about, is about not being in scarcity mode. Because a lot of the time, we all, like the Matrix programmed us into being fear-based beings. It wants you afraid of everything. It wants you afraid that you'll never have enough. This is what drove people to do the heinous things they did, was the fear of not having. And in order to reprogram yourself into abundance, reprogram ourselves into abundance, we must program ourselves out of scarcity. So what this is pretty much saying is that don't be afraid to spend and donate, and give to others, but also, don't be afraid to give to yourself, because there's been so many restrictions around, that it's that scarcity mindset. And again, it's about finding that balance between giving and receiving, because at the end of the day, when money is working in a healthy way, when it's working to enhance you in the world, it is a currency, it is a current, it is a flow of energy. So in order for energy to flow, there has to be a constant in and out, and that's actually what the more there's an in and out, that's what facilitates the expansion of the energy. And so this is challenging some of you, where you might be feeling like you've got to contract, constrict, hold back, and to search, because it's not even about the giving, right? The giving is the external manifestation, or it should be the external manifestation of what you're already understanding. A lot of people like to give in order to make themselves feel good. And again, they're feeding their false matrix persona. Some of the biggest devils in our world are the philanthropists, are the ones who say that they're philanthropists. It's almost like they have to assuage their guilty conscience for all the other fucked up shit they do by giving some of the money that they make into to charitable causes. So be aware that the giving energy that they're wanting us all to tune into right now is from a place of freely giving, from a space of generosity of spirit that comes from an abundance, from being in your I am wealth, I am abundance frequency, as opposed to doing it for any other reason. In other words, to make yourself feel less guilty, or to make yourself, or to build your ego or false persona. Make sure it's coming from a pure place, but also make sure that you are learning how to reprogram yourself out of the matrix programming that taught us we had to hoard. Remember when Corona hit and everyone was like buying all the toilet paper? Because we've been so programmed to think that there's not enough. And our planet can actually sustain us all beautifully when we're living in balance and with surplus. But in order to keep such grave imbalance, they had to program us into scarcity. So now it's time. Now it's time to start to give joyfully, give with a joyful heart. And if you can't give with a joyful heart, then it's not time for you to give. And that's to yourself and to others. In other words, check your intentions and your motives, and do the work around the scarcity mindset that you have to do, and we all have it. We've all been programmed in various ways. Even those who have a lot of money, they have a scarcity mindset, guys, because it's part of the matrix programming. Money is not indicative of true wealth or abundance. They have a scarcity mindset because they bought into the whole matrix reality of having to take from others and having to be in competition with others and finding their value in money. That actually is people like that oftentimes don't have a lot of true self-value. They don't value themselves, because if they valued themselves, they wouldn't be out there doing the things that are required in the matrix system to have a lot. And there's always compromise, because the system requires constant sacrifice of yourself or others. So whether they're sacrificing others, it's also self, which again, no sense of true value for self. And we're all being challenged right now to get in alignment with our real value system, because that's what's going to be what tunes us into our I am wealth, I am abundance frequency. This is what the New Earth financial system is built upon. Exercise to increase your energy and manifestation abilities. The key to manifesting quickly is to have very high energy levels, and the easiest way to increase them is through physical exercise. Choose a fun and meaningful activity so that you'll look forward to exercising and it becomes its own reward. So again, this is teaching us again about energy circulation and working with our fields. Because I was saying to you before, the currency, the more you give, the more you give, the more you receive. The more that's what grows the energy. It's the constant in and out that grows the energy. And here's the thing about exercise is that many people in the beginning, they don't like to exercise because they say it makes them more tired. And yeah, while your body's adjusting, it might. But when you get into the flow of a good fitness regime, you end up having more energy. And if you look at it scientifically, it's because you actually are producing more ATP. So even though your expenditure is greater energetically speaking, you have more energy to work with. You've grown the energy by spending it. So this again is something to do with those of you who found yourself feeling like you're in stagnant states. Move your body, move the energy, and begin to tune in and master how energy exchange occurs and how it grows and what, because we're all interconnected, and all of this is being brought to the forefront now because we're leveling up. We're leveling up in our divine relationships. Like, many of you are having like divine partners step on the scene, like I said, and divine co-creators. It's time for us to level up in our own understanding of who we are as energetic beings. It's time for us now that we're getting our energy back to own that energy and know how to use it responsibly. So really this is what this is all about right now. Okay? So I hope this reading was helpful and insightful. It's been a pleasure reading for you. It's so good to be back. What else? I will link that reading below. My new channel, I will also link below. If you're interested in donating to the channel, my PayPal is below. If you'd like to donate a debt to me or the channel, my wish list is below. If you would like to work with me, my email address and my website, which links you to all of my services, and I have updated my website in my absence. It's all there for you to see. So all information, any way you need to contact me, it's in the description box below. But I'm going to love you and leave you guys. I wish you a beautiful, wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is, I hope that, it's gorgeous. I wish you every beautiful thing under the sun. Until next time, be well.